I put this other microphone on because yeah, let's put it right there. There. So I'm going to sit. You don't want me falling off the stage or anything. I'm fine. Just going to take it easy. And after speaking at classroom level for just one class yesterday, I lost my voice about half of the way into it. So I put the other mic on. I'm gonna take it easy. Feeling better though. So I figured it would be fair, since I wasn't here to fully talk to you about it, that we'll have our quiz on Tuesday. Unless anybody wants to take it right now. Got any takers? No. So we'll do that right at the start of class Tuesday. Here, let me get rid of that. So the first half of it is going to be writing the name, the ion pair, the formula for ionic compounds. Okay? So review what the difference is between fixed and variable charge. We could have binary compounds as well as any compound that contains polyatomic ions. So you need to know all the formulas and charges of those polyatomic ions that are on the list. Continue practicing those, like some of you, I heard some of you practicing. So quiz each other over those polyatomic ions to make sure that you really have them. I may throw in a molecular compound or two. Those are the ones that have the Greek prefixes, the di, the tri, the tetra, like carbon dioxide or dinitrogen tetroxide or something like that. I may put an acid on there, hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid or something like that. So that's going to be the top part of the quiz. The bottom part, you'll probably have to do 2 calculations and show your work from the Chapter 6 stuff that we've been working on. So Avogadro's number will be given, although if you've practiced those enough, you will know what Avogadro's number is. But I will give you the value of Avogadro's number. But you'll have to do conversions that involve any one or all 3 of those conversion factors that we learned about in Chapter 6. So I'll give you a periodic table for molar masses. You may need to find one element out of a compound or something like that using a mole ratio. That was the other type of conversion factor from Chapter 6. So there's plenty of ways for you to practice to make sure that you're on the right track for this quiz. There is a practice quiz in the quizzes section of Brightspace that you can try out. This is one that I made for my hybrid class. You can feel free to try that. Several practice worksheets, including one on mole conversions, which I would highly recommend. If I bring that up, content, practice worksheets, several involving naming, but here's the one, mole conversions and stoichiometry. Now, part of this comes from Chapter 8, so really it's only questions 1 through 18, but 1 through 18 on there are pretty much every combination of these conversion factors. So mole conversions, worksheet numbers 1 through 18 only. So that'll be helpful, and there's a key for that also. Quizlet, great for quizzing yourself over the naming and the polyatomic ions. That's in links right there. I showed that to you last time, I think. So practice up, should be no surprises. It's just a matter of practicing to make sure that you're able to do this. We'll take a second here when we start to review just a little bit from the Chapter 6 stuff. But anybody have any questions about Quiz 2? I'll give you about 20 minutes at the start of class next time to do it. I'll give you a periodic table. Yep, it'll be on the back. Okay. Other questions? A small handful of naming sort of the top half, and then I'm thinking 2 questions on the bottom half where you'll show your work. Okay. Other questions? Yep. These always get posted in the announcements right on the front page of the course. Right there. So as soon as I get all that, that'll be right up in there. Okay. Other questions? Good. So here. I think I put that in the announcements in the class. We're sticking with the schedule for lab. So that means for everybody, experiment 8 will be next week. If you're in the Tuesday lab, that missed lab, we will be doing experiment 7 on March 29. That's a Q&A day, 2 weeks after spring break. So if you were in lab this morning, don't forget the post-lab quiz for experiment 7. Okay? Chapter 6, Mastering Chemistry, due tomorrow night. We are going to start Chapter 8 in class next week, but we'll be working on Chapter 7 today and Tuesday. So, questions? You all set? So, let me just open this up. We're not going to deal too much more with Chapter 6. I will remind you, if you have not yet, make sure to follow this link here for the lecture makeup video. That will take you through the end of the Chapter 6 notes. So that will give you an introduction sort of to all these the roadmaps, right? These conversions. Avogadro's number, anytime we're dealing with atoms or molecules, right, to moles. Molar mass, anytime we're dealing with grams. When we're converting from one substance to another substance, we use a mole ratio, where if we had 1 mole of the whole compound with a subscript of that element, it would tell you how many elements that would be. So like if it was C2H4, that could, for instance, be like 4 moles of H for every 1 mole of C2H4, something like that. So just base that off of the substance that you're given versus the substance that you're being asked about. Okay? If those are at all different, especially if one of them is an element contained within the compound, you're going to need to do a mole ratio type thing. Okay? So that's the only place where the chemical formula can change. Okay. Avogadro's number has to be for the exact same formula. Molar mass has to be for the exact same formula on the top and the bottom of the fraction. But it's a great place to double check that the only place that substance has changed was in a mole ratio. Okay. So there are 4 problems right within the notes packet right there that take you through that. If you haven't yet, make up the roadmap. You can watch the video if you need a little hint on those, or you can, I don't think I've put it up yet, but today I'll put up the completed notes for that with all the work shown for all of those problems too, if you want to check your work. And then make sure to watch the video on mass percent composition. That's just one pretty simple type of calculation that lets you figure out what percent of a compound's mass comes from one element. Okay. Did anybody have any questions or issues? Anybody that had worked through any of that have any problems? Mm-hmm. No. Well, continue working on that. Practice with those, but also practice with the worksheets and everything else, and you should be good to go. If you can make your way through the problems on that mole conversion worksheet, then there should be no issue on the quiz. And same thing, if you can make your way through that Quizlet that has names and formulas of compounds with polyatomic ions, then the top half of the quiz will be no problem either. So let's start chapter 7. 7 is about chemical reactions. It's a little pity that it's pretty much around halfway in the course before we really